This on SharePoint 2016. My name is Noor Basha, Marketing Manager at Winwire Technologies, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. As you can see, all the logistic details are available on the screen, and I would like to highlight a couple of them. During the webinar, please feel free to post questions, and we will try to answer as many as we can at the end of the session. We are recording this session, and you'll have the recording in the next 24 to 48 hours. So as you see, today's session is on SharePoint 2016, Evolution of Best Collaboration Platform, where we will take a deep dive into what SharePoint 2016 will have. So let me take a minute to introduce you to today's presenter, Mr. Vineet Arora, who is the Chief Technology Officer at Winwire Technologies. He has over 20 years of experience in the IT industry and is a Microsoft Azure Certified Architect. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Vineet. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the folks wherever you are joining from. Glad to be on this call. Just to set the agenda, thank you for taking the time to listen to one of the very interesting topics which I believe will be talked about for almost a good part of this year, is all around SharePoint and its evolution as the new version of SharePoint comes out of the Microsoft products team during the rest of this year. I want to just cover more as a teaser some of the introductory points about how SharePoint has been evolving as a platform, what are the things that you should be thinking about, and also give you some quick updates that you may or may not have already heard about some of the services in the SharePoint as a platform. Just a disclaimer, as you probably already know, if you have been in the Microsoft platform arena for a while, Microsoft does allow for information to be shared, but with the disclaimer that as the product evolves, as your platform evolves, some of these things may change. I'm supposed to surely share this information. It was just recently announced, even less than a month ago, that SharePoint 2016 is the next version of the SharePoint platform. And the idea behind this session is to give you a quick introduction and whatever we know about the platform, but we will be following up with additional details as Microsoft makes it available, as we participate in more discussions and make sure that you are ready for this new version. I'll be talking about various milestones over the next few months that Microsoft has planned, but one of the big milestones that I think you all may be aware of it is the Microsoft Ignite conference that is planned for the first week of May 2015. I'm sure most of you are looking forward to joining it, listening more about SharePoint 2016 and all the other related technologies. This happens to be more of an intro into what you will start to hear more and more over the next few weeks, and certainly Microsoft themselves will be covering a lot many more details about SharePoint 2016 as a platform. So let me start with key phrase, the whole idea of what is the modern workplace. I'm sure many of you have been using SharePoint for many years now, either developing or have been end users or have been really extending it. Microsoft itself as an organization and its partners have been investing heavily in making it one of the best collaboration and social engagement platform out there. What the growth of this platform has meant is creating new solutions, new types of solutions that partners and organizations imagine. But all of it comes down to creating a new modern workplace where you are collaborating across devices, across time zones, and all the information that you are exchanging with each other is accessible across various devices and across various forms and factors in which you normally interact with in your corporate environment. It has to be more people-centric, and it has been more people-centric, and also addressing a lot of compliance requirement, because that has to continue to be the focus as larger and larger organizations are making SharePoint as one of their core systems, apart from the other ERP and other system of records that they currently have. Over the last few months, if you have been tracking and already working on SharePoint platform, some of the changes that you would have seen is everything is organized around services that are learning from what you are doing. It's not just about pushing information, it's also about what is your role, what is it that you have been doing. And if you have heard about machine learning, that's one of the underlying services which is enabling all of this, and I'll talk about that in one of the key investment and feature areas that Microsoft has spent time on. But it's essentially to provide personal insight into all the data, all the information that you're interested with. I want to bring up an example of what it could potentially look like. This is an example that we as an organization, Winwire, have worked upon. This is all based upon various advanced services around SharePoint. And this is what potentially could be. I'm not saying this is the version, but this is a modern workplace. This is a new way to work, where all the information that you as an end user are supposed to be working with for your role is integrated into one comprehensive portal. Your notifications, the participation that you're doing in any business processes, even the apps that you have been building, and all your corporate social and other kinds of communication that are happening. You could also collaborate with people, Link being one of the Microsoft platform, Microsoft technology that has been used, integrating that in your search, and also enabling information from across different other systems and bringing them or bubbling them up into this kind of an environment where you have one UI, one interface to interact with all this information. So what I just wanted to give you was just give you a peek of what the solution could potentially look like. But let's look at how SharePoint has evolved as a platform, both in on-premises and on the cloud. And what I'm trying to cover out here is on-premises, SharePoint is one of the product lines, one of the services that is available. You do have your emailing system, your Exchange environment, your other IM system, Link, which itself is evolving with the acquisition of Skype that Microsoft is integrating Skype features into Link. So it still is Link, but very few weeks away, you will start to see Link go away and Skype for Business taking part of it. As we all know, on the cloud, Microsoft, like any other organization, is able to innovate and accelerate the adoption and the release of these new technologies. The Office 365 that has evolved over the last 4 years, 5 years, already has many of these features and functionalities enhanced a lot, and including new features and functionalities that probably have not been available all the time in the on-premises version. But the messaging, the Link kind of features, instant messaging, all your collaboration, portals, site, search, and many of the other features and functionalities have been all bundled in. And you will start to see this new term that you will start to hear a lot more. It's called experiences. Folks who have been there in the SharePoint environment would have used a phrase called workloads. And workloads has been the traditional way to talk about different types of capabilities that you can enable, be it search or be it BI. Microsoft is sort of enhancing that definition to say it's not just about having one workload, it's the collaboration of all those workloads themselves, and that's what an experience is all about. and I'll touch upon it a little bit more. And as you see, hybrid has been a need and a reality, not for everyone. Certain folks are able to manage with everything being on the cloud, but traditionally many of the other organizations are still choosing to and should be and are required to manage everything on premises. More and more growth happens on the cloud platform maturity, you will start to see hybrid as being one of the key focus areas. From us as an organization as being closely partnered with Microsoft, we are of course also making sure we can talk about what we are seeing in the market around the hybrid SharePoint environments. We did do a webinar just last week on how the hybrid solutions around Microsoft SharePoint platform are enabled, and there will be a follow-up webinar covering some more advanced topics. So I'll encourage you to certainly attend those and see what is possible right now on the SharePoint platform when we say a hybrid solution is to be looked at. Let's just have a quick look at the entire release history. Where has SharePoint come from? Some of you may have been there from the beginning. I certainly have been. I used to be with Microsoft, and I've touched and worked with the first version of SharePoint, which was SharePoint 2001. And then it quickly evolved into a next version, SharePoint 2003, where the focus was core collaboration, all around team sites, ability for teams to start to work together, right? And I'm sure some of you have come into the SharePoint arena, SharePoint platform, a little later when it really started to become quite popular. The SharePoint 2007 version started to integrate a lot of other features around content management and other advanced collaboration features, and started to bring it and mature it as a product. 2010 version was certainly one of the big milestones in Microsoft's growth of this particular platform. If any one of you who are listening to this webinar were at the SharePoint conference 3-4 years ago, you would have seen the euphoria and the whole excitement that this platform created, enabling new capabilities, providing a huge growth in the entire ecosystem of SharePoint partners, bringing you with lots of features. All that actually further got enhanced in SharePoint 2013, that to date is still the most mature, and some people say the most complex for the right reasons, platform, integrating a lot of features and functionalities, but also focusing a lot on how do you start to enable some of the cloud features, right? With Yammer getting integrated in Service Pack 1 and other features starting to evolve, it has been certainly a very, very mature platform for enterprises to look at while they're thinking about simple collaboration platforms or talking about much more advanced specific solutions that are built around the core features and functionalities of SharePoint. Naturally, Microsoft continues to invest and evolve into the next version, and that's what we are going to be talking about. At a very high level, there are 3 areas in which the growth of SharePoint as a platform is happening. SharePoint 2016 version is going to be all focused around all these user experiences that we talk about and how they are evolving, working better together, the evolution of the management of this entire environment, be it cloud, be it on-premises, and of course, extensibility that got introduced in SharePoint 2013 with the whole apps model, and it's certainly growing and maturing as technologies change, as things like HTML5 become more of a standard, as the devices populate, and you have to make sure that all your apps and all your features and functionalities work towards that, but also as the rest of the cloud infrastructure, in Microsoft case specifically the Azure infrastructure, improves, how can your extensibility leverage that also as a platform? We'll touch upon that as we go through this session. So as I was talking about, coming to the whole vision of SharePoint 2060. This small graphic that you see on the slide, I think summarizes it quite well. SharePoint, which has been on-premises with a set of services, Office 365 that has been evolving as an environment rich with features and functionalities and getting updated much more faster than how service packs have been traditionally released for SharePoint. And Azure, which is Microsoft's infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and a whole lot of cloud, all of them working together to give you one consistent platform to make sure that you can build solutions for your modern business. It's of course focusing also on scale that you need, the security aspects that you need, but also starting to think from the ground up that there are hybrid design elements that you need to think about in your solution. When you are talking about solutions to be built, you're not just talking about folks sitting in offices accessing information just over a LAN on their desktop. That, as most of you know, is old and traditional. You are talking about people on the move. You're talking about organizations partnering, and you have to leverage other technology environments, which is your hybrid comes into the picture. And all of it, since the last version that you would have seen, has been starting to be centered around people. Experiences that people have, right? I mean, the cases where we have seen where SharePoint, or for that matter, even other technologies, but SharePoint has had challenges in adoption, is where features and functionalities have been pushed, right, in a solution built on SharePoint, which are more traditional in nature, right? Here it is. This is how you've used it. It's just now on SharePoint, and go ahead and use it. And people have started to think differently. People interact with other systems differently from Microsoft and from other vendors. So SharePoint itself has to evolve and has been evolving to be more people-focused and provide those kinds of experiences as we talked about. Just a small quote. I think if you look at, if you have to summarize in one, this is how Microsoft looks at talking about it. It's designed from cloud up in the SharePoint 2016 platform. It's not leaving any of the on-premises capabilities and features away, but the customers benefit for many, many years from all the investment that has happened on cloud, but also making sure that the IT, which is managing the environment, and developers continue to leverage their existing skill sets and all the information worker scenarios that we talked about, and I showed you an example of one of them, right, are working the way users are used to working. Like the example that I showed you, I need to know what is my calendar looking like, and I need to interact with someone, and I know what are the notifications. Instead of switching between different apps or different solutions, if I can have all of that together, that's where the power of the platform shows up. Coming back to the list of focus areas, and we'll delve deeper into each one of them, is all around user experiences, the management aspect, and the extensibility aspect. And I do want to provide sort of a disclaimer or a context that this is based upon as the platform is improving and evolving right now. It's not out. SharePoint 2016 as a release is still ways out. However, some of the features and functionality that we talk about are already things that have been incorporated into Office 365, and they will only further get integrated into the on-premises version of SharePoint and be evolved as the newer features and functionalities get released over the next few months. You will hear a lot more in-depth details about many of these features in the Microsoft's Ignite conference planned for first week of May, as I already talked about. But we will cover, and it will give you a good preview of what is already happened, what is coming in across these three areas of investment that Microsoft has done. Let's start with user experiences, and we'll cover an overall overview of experiences that have already been incorporated if you have been using SharePoint Online as a part of Office 365. What are the various investments that Microsoft has already done? Everything from document collaboration. This was something that was shipped a few months ago, and you may have already been using it. Anything from the non-Microsoft tools and devices like Macs, iOS devices, but also the Microsoft's own system, right? Ability for you to work on those documents in a very simplified fashion. You are going to continue to see more and more investment into how, and I'll show you a couple of slides on that, but how the investment that you're doing in organizing your document collaboration is going to be seamless across the devices that your users are using, across the way that your users are working. So when I say save as in Microsoft Word, right, you starting to see new features and functionalities where I can save it directly to my OneDrive, and or ability to then save it and then view it immediately on another device without having to talk about it, because it's all synced. It's all the familiar SharePoint interface, and this will only evolve by addressing newer and newer UI elements that are coming into the picture, with HTML5 being the technology behind it, and new devices that are coming into the picture. Some of the improvements that you may not have noticed is increasing in the file sizes that are supported up to 10 gigabytes, ability to also rename and move files, but the links would still be the same. Many of those features which you can really leverage today. Something here that you may or may not have noticed in the last quarter, one of the new focus areas for Microsoft has been to evolve what they call as a video portal, and this is going to be a critical part of SharePoint 2016 as one of the next-gen portals. Many organizations that we have worked with have always asked for the need for ability to create a YouTube or an enterprise YouTube kind of an environment where you can capture, share, and work with videos across the organization. This is the next generation version, which today is purely available on the cloud, and it will start getting into the hybrid scenario with allowing you more integration with the on-premises version as the new SharePoint version comes into the picture. Social collaboration, certainly something that Yammer has existed for a while, but getting Yammer integrated into the rest of the tools and technologies within Microsoft platform. Not only on the Office 365, where as you see on the screen, you're able to have a conversation, but also integrating it with your core Office product. Like if you're working on a PowerPoint presentation, you could still have a Yammer conversation around that. And these are going to become more seamless as your on-premises version of SharePoint and the document collaboration improves, right? Where everything is going to be very well integrated seamlessly, and you are not having a discussion on a separate window and working on a document on a separate window. So it's all sort of integrated into one environment itself. This is one of the key focus areas, as you will see in 2016, is further enhancement of this enterprise social feature, making it seamless. If you have been working with SharePoint 2013, Service Pack introduced the YAML integration into the on-premises version, where it became seamless. It replaced the whole new suite functionality, and there were still some areas of improvement. For example, around my site, where the integration of YAML was not that smooth. All those are the investment areas that you'll see that it will, hugely improve. And the next version of SharePoint will make sure that the entire enterprise social is seamlessly all across Yammer. And one of the other focus areas for SharePoint 2016, I briefly touched upon the video portal, right, is this ability to create some fantastic UI and new portal. Like the example that I showed you, there are many other folks, and I'm sure some of you who are on this webinar, attending this webinar, have also built some nice looking portals. This has been one of the key focus areas to create what are called next-gen portals, which are good by design. They are very intuitive for collaboration. They are from the ground up targeted for mobile devices, and making sure that you have those features and functionalities, right, easy to enhance your existing solution, right, and not just redeveloping it. Video portal that I talked about was one of the first next-gen portals that has already been released. But as you come into SharePoint 2016, the whole features and functionalities around knowledge management, about people interacting, you will see next generation portal with new intuitive design and mobile enabled portals part of that particular solution. The same thing is happening, or something similar is happening to the team sites, which has been the most sort of the old feature that is existing in SharePoint, but they are also evolving. Team sites are becoming more of integrating different information from different locations, not just documents, but your email, your KPIs, your information around your videos, anything that you're collaborating on, bringing all of it together, and again, making them mobile enabled. And you will see quite an advanced version of team sites in the next version of SharePoint. This is one of the points that I wanted to talk about. There are several examples of mobile enabling SharePoint content, or mobilizing SharePoint as we call it. We ourselves have invested as an organization on mobilizing SharePoint, making sure folks have access to the content and information. And as Microsoft evolves the core SharePoint 2016 to be all HTML5 enabled, you will start to see the features and functionalities that have been transformed and provided in different forms and shapes on the mobile devices, becoming absolutely out-of-the-box features and functionalities. And not just for documents, ability to find people, ability to also leverage some of the server-side technologies like DCS and others, very well integrated and to be provided on mobile devices. It's no longer just going to be focused on the desktop versions of the SharePoint portals and SharePoint-based solutions. And the key focus areas for this whole scenario is that the look and feel of the document, the fidelity, the experience for how you're interacting with the content has to be same, irrespective of what device you're using, what form factor you're using. And that brings us to one of the most exciting feature. If you have been looking at the growth of code-named solution from Microsoft called Oslo, which now officially in October-November timeframe got marked as Delve, D-E-L-V-E. That's where the entire investment of Microsoft technology on machine learning, Office Graph, making sure you do not need to search all the time to find the content, but the content is being brought to you in a very contextual sense. What is your role? What have you been doing? If you have not experienced Delve, it'll be very interesting to look at Delve and talk about how you're going to start looking at the next version of your search, right? Your old search used to be enterprise search, and Microsoft acquired FAST and brought FAST into the whole picture as a part of the core platform. But with so many other locations where you are working on content, be it Office documents, be it Yammer, be it other environments, the focus is to bring those content seamless across various devices. That's another very, very important area, because you're not always just searching on the desktop or on your enterprise portal, right? Making it relevant to you and your role without worrying about, okay, I'm looking for this information. So this is one area where already a lot of effort has happened. And if you have been reading, there has been a lot of speculation around this. Based on what we know right now, Delve has been something that has been evolved into Office 365, and it has been primarily focused on the cloud-based content storage. Going forward, it will start to have a lot more connections where third-party systems, including many of the on-premises, could publish or could provide their content via this platform. This has to become like your combination of all your enterprise social, all your document collaboration, all your team site information, all sort of combined into one and provide you information. As I talked about, your experience has to be more people-centric rather than driven from content specific. So today it exists on Office 365, and it will evolve into a hybrid model with more and more capabilities coming into content that is going to be in SharePoint 2016, also getting integrated into them. One of the other experiences, and again, if you noticed earlier as I clarified, these were used to be called workloads on Microsoft platform, and they have been started to be more referred as experiences, because they are not only from a UI experience, but they are features and functionalities that are combining and overlapping with each other. So this is one of the areas where business intelligence focus has been there quite a lot. It does require your backend environment to be also a lot more latest around SQL Server. I'm not going to talk more about that, but this is the most interesting investment and growth on the Microsoft platform. You saw some of the preview versions getting shipped late last year, and this is which will be further and highly enhanced when you come into SharePoint 2016, where you are talking about Excel being the experience, but you have probably seen Power BI Designer tool. If you have not, that's the tool that Microsoft has released, and it will be part of the entire suite of how you, as the end users or the power users, can build those BI solutions. You also have data that you can source from cloud, third-party providers like Salesforce, GitHub, all those SaaS applications where your organization probably has data, be able to bring all of it together and still consolidate it all into one set of dashboards. Some of the on-premises data will not move out. So SQL analysis services, for example, where many organizations have invested, you will have capabilities to also be able to connect to those, allowing that. And of course, you will need to enable hybrid solution for that. It's not going to happen by magic, but you will be able to not really replicate your data, but make that data appear in your dashboards. Power BI itself as a technology is also enabled, remember, by SQL Server behind the scene, but it itself is evolving, and there could be a dedicated session itself that we could have around that. But I just wanted to bring these 5, 6 points which are more in context with SharePoint 2016, so that you are all very clear and aware of. You will have a Power BI app. That is what is speculated, and timing for that is certainly unknown right now. But for SharePoint 2016, you will have a Power BI app. Currently, it's purely available as a cloud-based solution and very well integrated with Office 365. Full HTML5 compliance, making sure it's all available on mobile. Not to get into the word soup game, but if you have been working on the Microsoft BI platform, the earlier version with SQL Server used to be Power View, which was certainly leveraging one of the old Microsoft technologies around Silverlight, and that will also become HTML5 enabled. Some of the other features and functionalities specific to SharePoint around Power Pivot Gallery, they may live on because that's a good way to organize your content, and organizations have already invested in that. But everything around your Power BI side, which could be a project or an effort in itself, is going to be both available for your online cloud-based and your on-premises, and making it also accessible on your mobile devices. Project and portfolio management. One of the very interesting feature and functionality that, as all of you probably know, has existed on the Microsoft platform as a separate product line around Project Professional, Project Server. It evolved and it became part of SharePoint in some way or form in the last version. One of the interesting improvements and integration which is happening is bringing everything around your project and portfolio management as a core feature and functionality of the SharePoint platform itself. It's making sure everything from tasks to resources are integrated into the core system. So from a visual perspective, we'll show you, but you don't need to have a separate project feature and functionality. The features and functionalities have enhanced quite a lot, will be enhanced quite a lot in SharePoint 2016 itself, so you can manage their entire spectrum of the project information. Let's touch a little bit about management and how do you start looking at management of SharePoint as a platform. This slide speaks a lot, and again, I can talk a lot more about what are the features and functionality, but you have known about some of these services, and some of the services will start getting enhanced, some of the new services will start coming in, but everything from user services, things like OneNote, which are notebooks integrated into your team sites, or Excel services which have existed for a very long time, or timer jobs that have existed for a long time, but bringing the management of all of these services in a much more simpler and much more better way to deploy and manage is one of the huge improvements and investment that Microsoft is doing in the next version of SharePoint. If you have worked on service applications in SharePoint 2013, you know there has been, that was the first version when the whole service apps mechanics came into the picture. There were many hoops that you had to sort of jump through to configure and integrate. All those are going to be much more simplified, and make sure that services that may be on your on-premises environment or your cloud environment are starting to get managed as much as possible. Same thing, connecting it back to the point that I was talking about project server. You have had project databases as separate. There were integrations, but going forward, all of it is going to be sort of combined. Your content, your documents, and everything else will become part of the core content databases of SharePoint itself, so that project as a feature and functionality becomes, or project management as a feature and functionality becomes core to your SharePoint environment. Some of this you may have already seen. This has been there for quite a while, and as you can see the legend on the right side. Last year, there was a lot of e-discovery and compliance-related features and functionalities added. Some of it has been there in the SharePoint 2013 on-premises, but a lot more was missing from Office 365, and all that enhancement that happened, right, happened more on Office 365, with some of it happening as a part of the on-premises version. These are one of the key focus areas from a management perspective, where Microsoft is investing in SharePoint 2016, making sure that your administration of content that is not only on SharePoint, but on your other collaboration environments around Exchange, where you're talking about emails, your link environment, all of it is all consolidated into one environment, so that when you look at content, it is spanning across all these various environments. Again, as I said, some of this is not new. but it will be further enhanced and updated in SharePoint 2016, because this is one of the key reasons why organizations have not been able to always move to the cloud. Everything, even on the on-premises, there's a lot more control and management that is required, and this will further enhance. Talking about hybrid as a talking point, which I covered in the early part of this conversation, today you have SharePoint Server 2013. Hopefully you have migrated to it. If not, you're looking at migrating to it. We'll be happy to help if you're looking at, if you're still on SharePoint 2010 or in certain case SharePoint 2007. You have SharePoint Online. Certain organizations move entirely, as I was saying, to SharePoint Online. But some of the best scenarios are when you can have content shared or provided between both these platforms. That's a hybrid situation. And frankly, the situation is it's not that easy. It's possible, and those are the strategies that, as you probably are already registered for. If not, I talked about, we are delivering in a series of webinars on how you can start planning, how you can start thinking about hybrid solutions today. Going forward, the SharePoint 2016 server on-premises and all the new cloud services, right, including services like Jammer and Delve and OneDrive and the video portal, are going to be one single platform. What does that mean is if you're building apps, if you're planning for solutions, right, it's going to be seamless to have, you are not going to be spending extra energy and effort to configure the hybrid scenarios. Now, it's not to say that if you don't want pure on-premises, you cannot. You still could potentially block everything on the cloud features and only live with the on-premises version. That's absolutely possible. But if you do want to have all the features and functionalities, it's going to be hybrid from the ground up, and you don't need to really be thinking about that. And on that, let me just cover on the extensibility features, which you will need to start thinking about. Extensibility is where developers come into the picture, where organizations who are investing their time in extending the core platform come into the picture. Workflows. Just a few weeks ago, some very efficient ways for you to create
Hello, Vinit. Sorry, folks, just give us a minute. I think Vinit has lost his voice. Just give us a second.
No, I'm back.
Yeah, thanks. We can hear you.
With the audio. I'm not sure what happened with the audio. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, just a few weeks ago, a lot of investment happened on enhancing the capabilities for you to develop very interesting workflows on Office 365-based solution, which has been one of the biggest complaints, that I cannot move my solutions to Office 365 because workflows are not that mature. And this is one area which you will see, again, investment both from definition of workflows, but also making sure that you have the UI enabled for multiple. So what you're seeing out here is a simple form that is rendered very easily on both the mobile devices and the desktop. And give me a few seconds. I know some of you may have questions around what is happening in InfoPath. I do have a quick update for you on that also. Developer experience. If you have not moved already, this came with SharePoint 2013, development of apps with the new way of working using more client-side object model in SharePoint 2013. This is something that is, again, getting widely enhanced, making sure that you are working not only with apps model, but also with APIs model. Not only working with building apps that are either only for Office 365, but also apps which are going to be deployed on premises. Maybe the code is seamlessly deployed on an Azure environment, but it's all accessible to your collaboration solution that you're looking at building. You will be able to publish these apps. You're already able to if you have looked at the SharePoint App Store, but you will also have Office Store and able to manage these apps in your controlled environment, in your corporate catalog, where you may want to just have certain apps available to your end users to use. This is not going to require a whole lot of different way of thinking, but it will certainly require you to focus on knowing what are the ways in which your apps are going to be seamlessly deployed and used across either on-premises or the cloud-based version. One quick slide on one of the key topics that has been a hot topic of discussion, InfoPath. And InfoPath was announced a few weeks or months ago as sort of going away. You know, there was this whole discussion around, is InfoPath going to remain or not? Microsoft stands to be the same, that InfoPath 2013 is the last version to be released, but it will still work with SharePoint 2016. So if you do have investment, if you do have earlier investment, at least for the next close to 10 years, you're not going out of support. They are also going to work in SharePoint 2016 as an environment, right? And that's something that you need to feel a little bit more comfortable about. SharePoint Form Services, that is part of SharePoint Server 2013, will also be supported. And InfoPath Form Services that is in Office 365 will be supported for a very long time to come. What does that mean? What that means is your current investment is not going waste. You should certainly, this is our suggestion, you should certainly start to look at more, when you're starting to design, like more and more device agnostic forms, because as InfoPath 2013 itself is not changing, you're certainly not going to start to have InfoPath forms starting to be rendered on mobile devices, right? But if you have current investment, they will work at least for the desktop version. They are not going away. But when you start talking about it, it is a good idea to start looking at migrating, but you can do it in a gradual fashion rather than throw everything apart and you need to build everything from scratch. So we can help you with some strategies around that. I know we have 10 minutes or so left in this webinar. I do want to open up for some Q&A. I just want to summarize out here is that SharePoint as a platform is evolving. Office 365 has been one of the big investments, which is also a big environment for experimenting and learning for Microsoft. And all the features that have worked, that have been built from ground up for cloud, are being brought back into SharePoint 2016 as the on-premises version. Will it be all of the features? As you know, probably it's not going to be the case, and nobody can know right now. You will hear and learn more, but the new platform is certainly going to keep the on-premises and cloud all together. I'm going to just jump over to one slide. As I said, Ignite is a conference. Winwire as an organization is going to be there. I wanted to highlight 2-3 sessions that we have heard about, which are going to be very exciting. If you are there, please plan to attend those. You will hear a lot more details. Some of it that I have talked about today may have more updates, may be improved upon. You will get additional information. But this is certainly the conference where Microsoft is going to bring in the information, more and more information about 2016, and you will be able to plan for your future. You may have invested many years already in SharePoint. You will start continuing to invest more and more into one of the best collaboration platforms available out there. So I thank you everyone for attending and listening to me. Hopefully this was, as I said, a peek into what is coming. We will have follow-up sessions after the Ignite conference on what we learned. And if you're unable to attend, I'll certainly be doing a follow-up session after the Ignite conference and talking about where is really some of these features evolving. And then we'll look forward to meeting some of you at the Ignite conference. Noor, do we have any questions that I can help answer?
Certainly, Vinit. First of all, thanks for the informative session. And I'm sure people are as excited as we are to learn more on the SharePoint 2016. So here is the first question coming from Christiana. Do you have some timelines on SharePoint 2016 release?
Sure. If you have been in the Microsoft webinar, you know, Microsoft does a formal announcement of some of these timelines. Earlier this month, when Julia White announced the SharePoint 2016 as a roadmap, it is going to be over the next 1 year. That's what I can tell you. Other specific timelines and dates, I think Microsoft will be officially announcing at the Ignite conference. If not before that, have a look out. Under NDA, we won't be able to share any of these specific timelines, but it is during this calendar year that it is planned, and next calendar year you will have much more formal RTM version of SharePoint coming out.
Sure, thanks. Here is another question coming from Venu. Any changes in user profile, MMS, content type, hub, and search?
Good questions, Venu. These are certainly at the next level where the current user profile environment and everything will remain similar. At this stage of the product information that is available, that level of details are not public as of now, but certainly we will be able to talk more in a few weeks when we have those clarities. Sorry, I cannot answer more than that, but there will certainly be enhancements to my sites that I know, but at this point in time, the details are very hazy.
Great. Thanks, Vinit. So I have another question coming from Mark. This is certainly again on InfoPaths. Will there be a migration tool or process for the next generation of forms technology?
That has been asked so many times. At this point in time, there has been so much confusion with this technology, InfoPath being technology which has been taken back and then brought back. I know there are various vendors out there, Microsoft partners, who have talked about having these kinds of tools. Microsoft itself right now is, as you saw in the slide, supporting InfoPath itself, but not really a formal tool that is planned. It may change as you're migrating to 2016 to convert it into HTML5. Publicly, nothing is known right now. At least I don't know about it, to be honest.
Okay. And for the follow-up question is, what should I use to build and complete forms?
I'm not sure I'm clear about the question. What is that?
It's like, since there is a no forms technology, so the follow-up question from the same gentleman is, what should I use to build and complete the forms?
So today, if you are looking at building new workflow-based solutions which have forms, or even if not workflows, you certainly should not be looking at leveraging InfoPath, right? SharePoint 2013 did introduce its own form technology. If you are using any of the other third-party solutions like Nintex or K2 or any of those, they have their own forms technology. Depending upon what is the business process engine that you're using, you should be leveraging one of those. At this point in time, new forms certainly should not be developed using InfoPath. You can build using standard HTML5, and there will be a standard way to do that as SharePoint 2016 comes along.
Okay. So I have a couple of more questions. So one is on the hybrid search. What is that we can expect on the hybrid search?
I think hybrid search is certainly already a feature that has been enabled and accessible you have to do all the configurations around your authentication and single sign-on. And I would actually refer you to the previous session that we did last week, where that exactly was something that was talked about for what is available today. On 2016, it's more than hybrid search. It's going to be the whole evolution of Dell, as I talked about, where you will have on-premises content possible to be extended into Dell, and that's the next generation hybrid for the search specific user experience.
Thanks, Vineet. So we got few more minutes. Let's quickly jump into that. So what would be the replacement for InfoPath services in 2016, as InfoPath 2013 is the last version ever?
As the slide says, it will still be supported. At this point in time, there is no formal announcement or need for any replacement technology. InfoPath, if you have InfoPath, once you migrate, those InfoPath forms will still be supported.
Okay. So the other question is, again, like, is Microsoft looking at hosting SharePoint completely on Office 365?
Making sure I understand this question right. It already does. SharePoint is hosted on Office 365, right? SharePoint Online is a feature, but many organizations cannot just rely on Office 365 version of SharePoint. So the on-premises version of SharePoint, which is the SharePoint 2016, will be possible to have purely on-premises version, but you could also have the hybrid version with cloud version itself. I'm not sure if I answered the question or if I got the question even correctly, but if you're asking if Microsoft is going to do away with on-premises version altogether, I don't think that is going to happen anytime in the near future. You will have the SharePoint 2016 as the next big investment of the on-premises version, which is there for the next few years, and what is beyond that is anybody's guess right now.
Great, thanks. And I have a last question for the day, and I think this is one of my favorite. So I'm running SharePoint 2010 today. Is it advisable to move to Office 365 now or wait for SharePoint 2016?
Certainly a question that begs a lot more discussion, to be very honest. There are organizations that are already investing in 2013. And one of the things that I did not cover, and due to various reasons I did not cover, is what is the migration path from 2013 to 2016, or for 2010 to 2013, 16 for that matter. And the reason is it's not yet fully hashed out, right? It's not all clear. If you are deciding to move to a particular version of SharePoint today, the answer would be to certainly invest your time and energy into SharePoint 2013, because it is planned to be a seamless migration to the next version of SharePoint. However, moving purely to Office 365 is also, if your business allows, is also one of the considerations that you can have to move away from SharePoint 2010, which certainly is something that I would recommend. Now, is it on-premises plus cloud? Is it only cloud, or is it only on-premises? As I said, it is all dependent upon how you are, how your business is, what your business needs are. But in all those scenarios, moving to 2016 is going to be a much more smoother experience for sure, but it is not detailed out at this point in time.
Thanks, Vineet. We have a lot more questions coming in, but in the interest of time, what we would like to do is we would like to take these questions offline. Folks, thanks everyone for taking time and joining this session, and we hope you find it useful and informative. I'm sure, like, because we are running out of time, some of the questions we will not be able to answer now, but definitely we would respond back to you via email. Thank you, Vineet. Thanks everyone for joining this session. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Look forward to hearing back from you.